Hi there, it's me, and I'm finally doing my video on how to prepare for an attack. I apologize, I'm full of cold, so if I sound nasally, you now know why. Um, okay, there's no escaping the fact that if you want to win a chess game, you have to attack. At some point, many players are happy solving combinations and winning positions when the hard work is already done. But the key to a successful attack undoubtedly comes much earlier. No one can attack effectively if they haven't prepared properly, and yet planning in chess can be a difficult technique to master. Even experienced players. The, what you need to do is make sure, ignore that. What you need to do is make sure that when you have an attack, that like anything, you need a plan. You need to know what you intend to do and what would happen in case something doesn't go to plan, but you can put someone else in. That's why knowing an opening is key, and that's why knowing the middle game and end game is also key. Like, if I don't do a move that you expect, you know how to adapt, and that's your plan. So, this is normally my standard opening as black. I just move bishop to c5, and knight takes e5.
Knight,
Okay. Now, my plan when I do this opening is to cause mayhem and confusion and chaos. Chaos brings victory. Now, at the start of any game, the weakness is f2 or f7. So that's why I try to exploit that opening.
bishop,
Now, the attack is the plan. Now, what could happen here is I've sacrificed a pawn in the middle. The knight's very strong. If king takes the bishop, which is hard not to do,
king,
most people are tempted to take the king. I mean, take the bishop. And I mean, they're not going to be able to castle anyway. So most people do this, and they get away with it. My next move is
queen,
queen h4. This attacks the king in check and attacks the pawn on e4. In the end result, I've captured 2 pawns to the loss of the bishop. A bishop is worth only 3 pawns, and so by the end of this, I have only lost 1 pawn. So this is the standard attack. I'm prepared. I'm prepared for anything. Now, normally, what most people do is play g3,
g3,
and that allows me to take the pawn on queen. Oops, it allows me to take the pawn on queen on e4.
queen,
This is attacking the rook on h1, as well as the knight on e5. The king is dangerously exposed, but however, the best response for white to do is bishop to g2,
bishop,
attacks the queen. Now, it would be a mistake for black to take the knight, because of my prime rule, you should not leave a queen in front of the king for more than one move, because if I did, the rook at the top would come across and forking the queen against my king. So black has to move the queen somewhere else.
queen,
Now white could come out with an attack and force someone like this, or he could just bring the knight
knight,
back, which is sensible. Black has to make up time for loss. The white can't castle, but I'm a pawn down, but he's got 2 pieces developed. And my queen's out way too early, so
Knight.
that's why you've been a knight out today or something like that. Now, if I'm not careful,
Knight.
white will start an attack on my queen and so forth. Now, beg your pardon. Now, one of my old favorite openings playing as white is the birds opening.
F4.
Normally, you play d5.
Knight.
They didn't do that though. They played knight to c6. So I took care of that.
E3.
Now he played knight to e6.
E6.
Now with this,
Knight.
with the birds opening, white wants the dark square bishop taken off the board as fast as possible. Black is threatening the check here, but the pawn would come up, and it looks horrible.
Bishop. D3.
Okay,
D5.
a little bit too late, but that's what happened.
Knight. Knight.
Oops, my turn. And I'll get ready to do this,
H3.
which was the mistake. Would have been a mistake if I did that hook because the queen couldn't come to there. But I pushed the pawn up so the knight can't come to this square because that's what's weakest right now. Now he did this.
Bishop.
I took
Knight.
black castled,
Castle kingside.
which was a mistake because the attack's coming on the king side and I'm preparing a king side blitz. He
G4.
pushed the pawn up. Black came out here.
Bishop. Bishop. A5.
So I attacked.
G5.
The knight's now trapped. He has to go backwards.
Knight.
I push my pawn up.
H4.
Now he has to be careful of which pawns to move. But he did this one.
H6.
I put my queen here.
Queen.
He took.
H.
And I'm sure you can see the threat.
H.
And no matter what black does, I've won. And that's the prepared attack. Because I have everything prepared. And my pawn advance came up. Part of the plan. Normally when you do the birds opening, you castle queen's eye, get the 2 rooks across. Now black can do
F6.
this. I'll go into
Queen.
check. King comes back out
King.
here.
G6. King. E7.
But yeah, black's in a horrible position.
Queen.
Okay, so next. Similar game.
F4.
This time he did do d5.
D5.
I did this to protect the
D3.
pawn. It's strange, I know.
Knight. E3. Knight.
Can't do that yet.
H3.
But that's, you see, that's the whole plan. That would have been a mistake. If I can do, take back move. Instead of that, if I had done this,
G4.
this would have been an unprepared attack. I have only one piece defending that pawn and there's two attacking. So
Bishop.
this is an example of being not prepared,
Bishop.
because I have to counter his counter. So you know your plan's going according to plan.
E6.
You know your plan's going according to plan
H3.
when your opponent is responding to you, not you responding to your opponent. He's responding to every move that I'm making,
G4.
like so, and he pushes back.
Bishop.
That's how you know you're attacking, and that's how you know you're winning. If
Knight. E6.
see, no matter what white does,
Knight.
black is responding to whatever
Bishop.
white does. Now,
Bishop. Bishop.
pardon me,
Queen. E2.
queen to e2. He castle king side again.
Castle kingside.
Then I castle queen side.
Castle queenside.
So I can have the two rooks on the that side. He starts the queen side attack.
B5.
You get the king to the
King.
middle. And you see how much better the king's white looks on the queen side attack compared to everything. Black has no attack. His piece is all over the place. So right now, black did something
A6.
like that. White has a strong king side attack coming. Well, black really has nothing. So now it would have been a mistake to push the pawn up, which is what I did.
H4.
And now again, you see, though I wasn't prepared.
Knight.
I had to do this.
Knight. Bishop.
And then
Bishop.
attacking the bishop, but he had nowhere to go but backwards.
Knight.
Queen to
Queen.
here. Oh no, I can't do that. Yeah, I had to. In the end, he came.
Bishop.
Yeah, see, now black's took the initiative. Because of one bad mistake, now I'm responding to black's moves,
Rook.
and now he's got the advantage. Because he is not how black has made white respond to whatever black does, not the other way around. No,
H6.
one move cost the
Knight.
attack, and white's a lot less strong.
G5.
White pushes the pawn. White again blocking off the squares that the bishop and knight can go to, except here, which is really bad because it's on the side.
Knight.
But he did that because he saw the g3 square, wanted to fork the rook. Queen to here.
Queen. Rook.
He put the rook to the center, which is not a bad idea. But now his knight is totally useless, so
Bishop.
no. He needs to get this knight into the game. He pushes the knight there. And he's going to try pushing the pawn up. That's what he did try and do. Now, because he moved the knight, he left this square open.
Knight.
And now his bishop and knight are trapped. You see how much stronger white's position is just because of the correct moves. You gotta plan ahead, think constantly, and if someone changes, the bishop is protected twice. So even though I got one attack, it's not really doing anything. Black pushes the pawn up.
C5.
He's gonna try to attack me on the king's side. Now remember, on the bird's opening, you want to get rid of the dark square bishop as white because that's the most dangerous bishop to you. But I took the knight, bishop. He took back here.
Knight takes.
And then I took the knight on the side, doing black a favor. I mean, that's the scenario. Because I know that sounded strange when I said I'm doing black a favor. But the fact is that that piece is so bad that keeping it on the board is doing black more harm than good. Because it can't go anywhere. It's trapped. It's in black's way. So just taking it off the board does him a favor.
Bishop.
So now his bishop knight's attacked again. And he went to attack.
Knight.
Now this was like in my early games. So the people weren't that great either, but I was like 10. It was Friday night 10 and it was against the Norwich Dons. And he was only like a level 40. Grade 40. So now he put the knight forward to attack.
Queen G4.
So my response is to put the queen up there to attack the knight. Now the attacker has become the attacked. Now, as you can see, white has become way more stronger. You see, that's the whole point of an attack. Is know your plan, know your openings. If there's an opening that you want to know, then learn it. I mean, there are so many different things that you can know and find out, like the library here, and chess360.com has openings. So you can do the king's pawn opening. This time the Clemens opening.
H3.
Then hello. The whole point of memorizing an opening is so you don't have to think. So you can cheat your way all the way to the middle game, and then you start to conceive a plan. You must have a plan at the start of the game. You must have an idea of an opening that you want to play, that you're going to play, and if your opponent doesn't make a move that you expect, you know how to come by it. So if your opening is Sicilian,
E4. C5.
but then instead of the normal knight f3, white does this.
Knight.
You're not going to be thinking, what am I going to do next? What's the next correct move? You carry on with your opening.
D6.
It doesn't matter what white does. You have your opening. You're going to stick with it, or you conform with the plan. If you want to go for the center, you go for the center. If you want to go for a plan that's taken it a different way, stick with it. And then to become to a plan of an attack, you must be good with math. You must do the counting in your head. You must make sure that the moves are good, the numbers are good, and then instead of saying you think the numbers work out, you say you know the numbers worked out because you got it worked out in your mind on how it's going to be. I know that knight comes to f3. My knight comes to f6. He comes to d4. I take d4. Knight takes d4. My queen's knight comes to d6. Or d7. And that's a plan. And that's how you attack. You got to make sure that you have enough forces to attack. It takes 3 pieces to catch a running king that's out in the open, 2 when it's trapped or behind its own pieces. Ah, dear. Okay, my code is getting worse. I think you've had enough of my rambling, so I'm going to end it here. Thank you, and see you next week.